Hi friends, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and the holidays are here, and what better way to celebrate than with a fresh set of Christmas nails. Today I'm using the gel method with dip powder to create a design that's extra sparkly, festive, fun, and perfect for all your holiday gatherings. If that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll be using Mistletoe Kisses, Christmas Tidings, and Santa Baby, all from Double Dipped. Of course, this is going to be an extra sparkly mani. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing gel method. So what that means is instead of using dip liquids, I'm going to be using gel liquids for this mani. So instead of dip base, I'm going to be using my double dipped HEMA-free gel base coat. And that's going to be what my dip powder is going to adhere to. So instead of air dry, it's going to cure by putting it in the lamp. I'm going to be starting with Christmas Tidings on my ring finger, and this is going to be my accent nail. So Christmas Tidings is a mixture of fine and small glitters that are gold. There's some holographic gold as well as some cranberry. But even though I paired it with red and green and not really cranberry, I feel like pairing it with that red didn't make it clash because it brought up more of the red in the cranberry than the pinkish of the cranberry, if that makes sense. So I absolutely love the way it looks together. So I'm starting with my gel base, and as I kind of mentioned before, this is not an air dry, so I can take my time. It's not going to cure or set until I cure it in my lamp. So I'm applying a thin, even layer of that gel base to my entire nail. I can take my time, go slowly, make sure everything's covered, that I don't have any product on my skin. And whenever you're using gel method, I do recommend the pour over method. So I am using my Chaos Gel Mold to catch that dip powder. So I'm pouring over the glitter on my nail, tapping off the excess powder. And then I'm going to use my precision tool to clean up around my cuticle area and sidewalls. And I did have like a little piece of glitter sticking out, so I just made sure to push that in a little bit. So the reason I say try to do pour over when you're using gel method is because the gel stays wet. So if you dip in your jar, you could displace that gel and get it onto your skin. So I went ahead and cured that for a full 60 seconds. And because it was very sparse with the first layer, I decided I'm going to just gently lay my finger in for the second layer to pick up more of those glitters. So I poured the rest of my jar into my Chaos Jar Mold. I tapped it to bring some of those larger glitter pieces to the surface. And I'm going in with my second layer of gel base coat. So I want to make sure if I missed any spots with the first layer that I'm getting that covered with the second layer. So I'm being a little bit more careful, going slowly to make sure that I've got my entire nail covered. And when I say that I'm laying my finger in, like I said, I want to be really gentle about it because I don't want to move that gel around. So I'm just very carefully finding a spot with more of those larger glitter pieces. I laid my finger in, so you can see I picked up a really great coverage with that. So I want to make sure that I'm cleaning up around my cuticle area and sidewalls. And there were some glitter pieces that were sticking up a little bit. So before I cure it, I want to make sure that those are laying down flat. So once again, I'm very, very gently just pressing down to make sure everything's laying flat. And that's why I'm wearing a glove on my right hand. I cured that for a full 60 seconds. And then I'm going to dust off the excess powder. I'm only going to do 2 layers of each color because I'm happy with the coverage in 2 layers. Of course, you can do more, but since I finished with the 2 of Christmas Tidings, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Santa Baby. Santa Baby is a beautiful fine red glitter. It's going to go on my index finger and pinky. And the one thing I wanted to mention about gel method, which you don't see me do, and I'll kind of explain why, is you can go ahead and do your whole hand at one time and then cure it all together. So apply your gel base to all your fingers and then pour on your corresponding colors and then go ahead and cure your whole hand for that full cure. But the reason why I don't do it that way and I do one color at a time is a couple reasons actually. One, because I'm clumsy. So if I leave the wet gel base on all my fingers, I may like accidentally bump it and then mess up that layer of dip powder. And two, because I get confused a lot. So I would accidentally probably dip the wrong color on the wrong finger. So I just find it easier to do one color at a time, and that way I don't confuse myself. And then there's also less risk of me bumping my fingers. However, I will go ahead and do my index finger and pinky all at once before I cure my hand, and that's as far as I'll go because that was even risking it. Once I pour over my dip powder, I'm going to clean up around my cuticle area and sidewalls and then give it a full cure for 60 seconds. And I'll say that's another really great benefit of working with gel method is that because you're not racing against a clock with that air dry, you can take your time cleaning up around your cuticle area and sidewalls. So personally for me, I find that when I'm working with gel method, I get cleaner cuticle area, cleaner lines because I can take my time and perfect it before I cure it. But anyway, now that I'm going in with a layer two, the first layer was very sparse. So I decided to kind of lay my finger in similar to what I did for Christmas tidings. So I went ahead, poured the rest of my jar into my Chaos Gemerald. I shook the Gemerald just to bring more of those glitter particles to the surface. And now I'm going in with my second layer of gel base coat. I want to make sure that if I missed any spots with my first layer, that I'm getting it covered with the second layer. So I'm just taking my time because I want to make sure that I don't get any gel on my skin. If I do get some on my skin, I want to make sure that I'm cleaning it up before I cure. And so now I'm very gently pushing my finger into that glitter, just kind of laying it on top of that glitter. So you can see I picked up a lot more of that glitter. I've got really great coverage. So once again, cleaning up around my cuticle area and sidewalls. I'm going to just lightly press down, even though these are fine glitters, I still want to make sure that they're laying down flat. I haven't cured it yet because I'm going to go ahead and do my pinky as well. And this is where I say the risk comes into play because if I accidentally bump my index finger, that's going to mess up the dip powder because the gel's still wet. So I'm going in with my second layer of gel base on my pinky. And you can see this one is definitely a lot less coverage than even my index finger because like that free edge area is very bare. But with the second layer, I got really good coverage. So going ahead very gently laying into that glitter to pick up the glitter, cleaning up around my cuticle area and sidewall. So this is my second layer. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to cure for a full 60 seconds, dust off the excess powder, and then we're going to move on to Mistletoe Kisses. Okay, now that I'm done with all my colors, I need to encapsulate my nails to protect the glitters from filing and buffing. Normally with dip powders, I encapsulate with clear dip powder. However, when you're working with gel method, clear dip powder does not play nicely with gels. A lot of times it'll look grainy and cloudy no matter what you do. So I recommend that you don't use clear dip powder to encapsulate. So instead, I'm going to be using a layer of gel base and gel top coat to encapsulate my nails to protect them from filing and buffing. And the reason why you need to encapsulate is because if you file and buff directly on top of your glitters, most times your colored glitters, the inside is silver. So you'll kind of file off that color and then you'll just see silver, which doesn't really look great. So I'm going to use my gel base and gel top coat. And the reason why I start with gel base first is because I want my gel top coat to have something to adhere to. I feel like probably the glitters are gritty enough to where the gel top coat would stick to it regardless of gel base, but it's also an extra layer of protection. So I don't mind going in with a layer of gel base first. Now, definitely if you're working with solids, you want to do a layer of gel base first because you don't want to start filing and buffing with just gel on top of that gel top coat only and then have it peel off on you. And like with your solid dip powders, it may be too smooth. So it needs that layer of gel base to help that gel top coat grip to it and adhere. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I'm going in, applying a thin, even layer of gel base to all my nails. And then I'm going to give it a full cure for 60 seconds. Once I'm done with that, I didn't get to record me applying my layer of gel top coat after I cured my base coat because my phone stopped recording and yelled at me that it was out of space. So I just quickly scramble and delete a bunch of stuff so I could finish up this video. So just know that I applied a layer of gel top coat, cured for 60 seconds. I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera. So here's how my mani's looking. And honestly, I just filed to clean up the shape a little bit, just did some light buffing on top. And then that was all I needed. So now to finish off with gel top coat, once again, I need to go in with a layer of gel base first, cure that for a full 60 seconds. And definitely gel base coat is needed because now my nails are smooth. So once I cure that for 60 seconds, I'm going in with my gel top coat. I like to start with capping my free edge first. That helps with longevity. And then once I cap my free edge, I'm going to apply the gel top coat to the surface of my nails. Once I've got that on all my nails, I'm going to cure for a full 60 seconds. And as always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles with my Scales of a Mermaid cuticle oil. This is the latest limited edition scent, so it's available until December 30th. This is called Man Eater, and I really love this because it's a very cozy and sophisticated scent with like a touch of freshness. So just think about like crisp mountain air, pear, lemon, eucalyptus, just such a beautiful scent. And I do also have an affiliate code with Scales of a Mermaid, so you can always use code Genie10 to save 10% off any of your orders, and it helps support me in this channel. So that pretty much wraps up today's video, and here's the final look. If you're still with me, drop me a Christmas emoji down below in the comments. I always love an extra sparkly mani, but especially around the holidays, I love it even more. So if you've been curious about gel method with dip powder, I hope this is helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.